some fun.
It's time for the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast. Here with a load of laughs, info, and fun, it's Tony B, Dave B, and Timmy D.
Before I go alone. Don't ask me this and one more song. It ain't too costly, no, I ain't too cheap, so just relax. I'm on my knees.
Ooh, some relaxing. Welcome.
Love that.
Welcome to the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast. My name's Tony B. Alongside me is David B. Happy Saturday morning. This is episode 143. David B., how are you doing this Saturday morning?
143, producer Tony. It's a beautiful Saturday before Thanksgiving Day. This is my kind of day. I know this isn't your kind of day, but kind of that cloudy, overcast fall day. Did you mow yesterday? Because it looks like you either mowed yesterday or just never stopped.
I did it Thursday.
Did you?
Yeah.
I might have one more in me.
You probably have to with the trees and leaves and stuff, right? You probably got one more to do. There's always that late November, early December mow.
Yeah, because it looks terrible. Or mine does, but your yard on this 19th green is
Boom, baby!
Jeez, man, it's a good-looking yard, producer Tony.
Yeah, man. The Ship's Gonna Happen. Anything we bring up in this podcast is purely transportainment, David. That's why we do it, right?
Boom.
Boom, 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 boom. The views of our views are purely news-driven and not the views of any trucking provider or any business entity. It is the Ship's Gonna Happen. You can catch us on all the platforms, David. You know that, right?
All of them.
All of them. But anyways, it's a beautiful Saturday morning, episode 143. We're going to get into it, David. Let's go.
Nice.
Little transition music.
Like
So, David,
go ahead.
there is a big college football game this weekend that I know that you have no interest in.
Zero interest.
Yeah, you don't even care about
This
it.
I want this day to be the "I told you so" game, but if I say that now, it's going to completely turn out to be the opposite. It's one of those where I need to wait until after the fact and be like, "Told you."
Yeah.
But
So they're up partying this morning already,
there's
tailgating
no
for this
doubt in
game.
my
Yeah.
mind.
So this is like the biggest game in Indiana football history.
But it's at Ohio State.
It
right?
is. Yeah, it's
Okay.
at Ohio
Just
State.
making sure.
Yep, it's a big. It's statistically kind of unique too, because it's not just a Indiana team that's kind of had a fluke season. This team statistically is pretty darn good, so it should be a really good game, and it sets up in the conference battle. I mean, if Ohio State were to lose, ranked number 2,
Right.
my goodness, where do they go after that? And the same thing for IU if they
But
lose.
to your point, I mean, you look at the top 10 in the country, and the Big Ten has 4 of the top 5.
Yeah, right.
Which is good. I mean,
Yeah,
we'll
'cause-
see how it.
Well, it's a
shakes
good
out.
point, because if you didn't add Oregon in, right, to the Big Ten, we would only have 3 or 4, right?
Yes.
So you got Penn State, Ohio State, Indiana, right there.
Mhm.
3, 4, 5. Is that right?
Something is
2,
like that.
4, 5. Yeah,
I
2,
think
4,
1,
5.
2, 4 or 5. I think in Texas is. I'm assuming
Is
that
Texas
other,
2 or Texas? No,
3.
Texas is 3. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's right.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's you got what 6 SEC teams in there, and then everyone on the outside looking in's an SEC team. I mean, it's like, so let me ask you a question, okay? A serious question here. If Ole Miss was 10-0, do you think they'd be ranked 5th?
Yeah.
You do.
Mm-hmm.
You really do.
I do. Because of that. So, and the reason why I say this is, and I've been saying this all season, strength of schedule.
Yeah,
that
no,
current,
I know.
That current 5th ranked team down
Mhm.
south in the state hasn't beat anybody yet.
No, I know, but nor has really Ole Miss.
Right.
So my point is, they're always trying to sneak in the SEC teams.
I see what you're
and
saying.
So the SEC, if you look at their conference, if Texas could lose to Texas A&M this weekend.
Mhm.
If that happens, Texas A&M is ranked 15th, I think. So you got to be in a 12 to get in.
Yeah.
So if they beat them, then they take the conference, and they're playing for they don't take it. They're playing for the conference championship.
Mm-hmm.
So then that just mixes up the SEC. So what do you do with all those other teams that have 2 losses? Like, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, right? Who are probably going to win their last 2 games. So I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And it's also something we don't get to talk about a whole lot, around here, is having a Big Ten team, that's contending for could possibly be contending for the Big Ten championship. So.
Well, officially, that's a good point.
And I am on record saying that those 2 teams here in the state in the Big Ten will never sniff a Big Ten championship, and I'm wrong.
We're getting close, though. It could happen. If there's an upset, they'll be playing for one, right?
Yeah.
But no, it's funny you said that, because in the history of the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast, an IU team has never played for the championship, right? Well, hang on, no, Purdue did.
So
we take that back. Purdue did. NCAA basketball,
right? Yep. But in football, in my entire 55 years on this earth, that team down south is never contended.
Holiday Bowl at best, right?
Maybe,
something like that.
Maybe, yeah.
With Corsa, Lee Corsa.
Well, I think even with when Hep was, in recent years they've been 6-6. They won 6-6 to beat Purdue and make a bowl game. Woohoo! It's different. It's a different. To be honest with you, it's kind of cool. One of the some of the Marion games this year, as much as I hate to say this stuff, like I sit in a certain section of at Marion, and there was a few times where they had those games on, and I'm like, shut that crap off. I'm not,
right.
But anyway, it's good. College sports are, in my opinion, the better sport. Better than pro. Just my own opinion. I love college sports.
It's been a great year, and I'm glad they expanded it to 12 teams. It looks like obviously they will have to expand it more, because you'll have the 5 that get in automatically, and then it just there's nothing really more exciting than college basketball tournament, NCAA, and it looks like college football.
Is there a chance though? Producer Tony, is there a chance? Just spitballing here. I know I'm thinking way too soon, but is there a chance that Notre Dame and IU could play for down the road in the playoffs? Right? Maybe.
Will help me think.
So Notre Dame is what, 8th?
Yeah.
Just thinking.
Yeah. Like in the
playoffs.
Oh yeah, could happen
as the playoffs go.
Right.
Just
No,
here.
that could happen. Yeah. I think that's a good point, though, that you bring up. Made me think of something else. If Notre Dame doesn't go into a conference soon,
I can't even believe we're still talking about this.
I know. How why would you want to play them?
Well, there's no 100% to your point. Why?
Yeah, if you're Ohio State or Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, whoever, why would you take the risk of playing a non-conference game against Notre Dame and potentially losing that game and ruining you already got one, now you're starting off with 1 loss.
Yeah.
Right? And you're headed into your conference games, which these conferences are getting super huge and super competitive.
And as a reminder, Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois, who at this time, Northern Illinois is ranked 7th in the MAC, or in 7th place in the MAC.
Yeah. They're not having a good season.
That's my point. To your point, I guess.
Yeah. So
why would you?
Yeah. Well, if you're Northern Illinois, you'd want to, because that make your season, right? Well, if you're a school like that, but if you're an Oregon, Ohio State,
they went to Northern Illinois. They went to Notre Dame and won.
Right. Yeah, that's huge. That's big. That's a big win. But
that was a earlier in the fall. Notre Dame had came to Marion on a Friday for rugby, and I went down and watched, and Marion smacked them both times. Both games.
David, are you ready for the hundreds and thousands of NMFC changes coming?
Wow. Okay. I've heard a little bit about this. But in my head, I don't think I have to be concerned.
You're good on what you have.
Yeah, because our stuff is pretty kind of 48 by 48 by 48.
Right.
It weighs this.
Yeah.
So Oh, and is this effective 2025 or is this?
Yeah, there'll be some big changes coming up. We just wanted to mention it here because it's kind of in our workspace. Well, not kind of, it is.
It's the main thing in our workspace, really, as far as billing is concerned.
They're going to move 3,500 single class items to 13 subcategories, says the Director of Commodity and Standard Development for the NMFTA. So you can get on the NMFTA website, and they have some videos you can watch to see some of these changes. But there's quite a bit, and I think it's the biggest amount of changes in the history of classification system.
What's the purpose of the changes? Is it just reclassifying everything, or is it for to change the rates on stuff, or what's the?
I think it will change some rates. I think some of the commodities really need to change. You get some plastics in metal extrusions that really aren't metal per se. They're more of an alloy. You know what I mean? So you just have things that change over time.
So when I worked in the plastics industry, our stuff was nested plastics, and it was class 125. Almost everything that was shipped was class 125. Some of it, due to the density, made it to 250 in the weight. But yeah, okay. I'm just kind of thinking out loud here.
Yeah, and I think it'll reduce some of the, I think it'll ultimately reduce the amount of classes because there's too many of them.
Well,
and so it's basically to simplify the freight classification, making it more user-friendly, reducing the friction between shippers and carriers.
But if you have an FAK, then
yeah, it kind of blends that all out. Yeah. The only bad thing about that is, which man, it's kind of hurt me at a place I'm working on right now. They don't measure, they don't put them down. They don't have a history of them. So sometimes when you're going to do pricing, you can have difficulty figuring out. You can get all the data from them, but if the class isn't there, then pricing can have a hard time making the price what it really should be. You know what I'm saying? Like to make it, you could skew it off. Usually it skews in a negative way toward the carrier.
So I see a lot of bills of lading on stuff that, like if a supplier is sending something into us, and more times than not, the NMFC is not on that bill of lading. Wouldn't that be just as important if not?
Man, that's a good point, dude. Yeah, it's.
Am I missing something? Because when I see those, I'm like, how the F is?
I know. It's a problem. There's two,
especially if we're getting the bill,
right?
Because it needs to be right.
Exactly.
I'm all the time with you, like, hey, this isn't right or whatever. And again, most of the time it's because that shipper didn't fill the bill of lading out correctly.
Right. It's a problem in the industry. There's two problems with the bill of lading. And it hurts the carrier. One is that people generally don't use let me back up. People generally use the right format, but not everybody does. And so when there's a lot of auto rating going in to the systems now. So when you try to auto rate those, they get kicked out or they get messed up, and then you have to manually do some entry, which is no big deal, but it just slows down the process a little bit. And then the other thing is people not putting down the right NMFC number on the bill of lading. I'm surprised it's not it's a word I'm looking for. It's not policed. Yeah, it's not policed more, and it's not standardized because it needs to be on there. I just think from security reasons, it needs to be on there.
If I look at our bill of lading that we generate for our shipments, it's way too effing wordy. Way too wordy.
Yeah.
It really just needs to be ship to, ship from, NMFC, class, weight.
Yours is fine. There's some of them, man. We have some people that put
7 too.
Well, you got a lot of sections on yours, but I mean, at least it's all identified on there, though. You can read your bill of lading and figure it out. There's some that you can't. They don't. It's blank. It's empty. they don't have stuff in there. Yours is kind of automated. You got stuff already pre-filled out in there.
Right.
So, but a lot of people don't do that, and it skews the costing, I think, in the system.
But if I do a manual bill of lading, I just try to keep it as simple as possible. Section 7, NMFC,
Right.
class, weight, that's it.
I think the more the merrier, though, because one of them I had the other day I read, I was shocked at everything. They ship a lot of mixed commodities, and man, they had one bill of lading, like 3 skids.
But then why don't you have an FAK?
Well, they do.
Oh.
But they still list it out, which makes it easier to identifiable. There's no guesswork in it. But man, they do a beautiful job with it. They list it all out, the weights, the NMFC numbers. It's amazing that actually they do it that good, because the 2 skids might have 8 different commodities on it. Yeah. So,
but see, like with ours, that's bad. My opinion is that everything we ship is class 65,
right.
But then they list that out, each individual, whatever the item is, even though it's all still the same. I'm like, it's just
right. Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
Just my opinion.
Little.
So these so these new classes are like January 1st, or these.
Some things changed
already
recently, yeah, and then the big changes, I think they'll take effect in July of 2025.
That always seems to be the date in freight where things kind of, right?
Probably
like
the
July
slowest
1st.
month of the year shipping, maybe. People are on vacation.
Is it slow now?
Yeah, it's we're holding. I think the industry's holding strong, but they think the recession's coming. They call it a freight recession. They say they think it's coming to an end. So,
And my Uber to Indianapolis, from the house to Indianapolis yesterday, was a current Werner driver, and I'm like, what are you doing driving Uber? And he's just a workaholic kind of dude or whatever. Like, I've always got to be working. I go, is Werner not keeping you busy? And then he kind of quickly reminded me, he goes, well, yeah, but he goes, I run out of hours. I go, okay, all right, fair. That wasn't even a thought in my head. I just, wasn't even a thought in my head.
yeah, run out of hours.
Yeah, he goes, I can only drive so many hours. I go, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Just not a thought. So, but it was an excellent conversation. He was a good dude. And yeah, I always like those. Almost seems like probably 7 or 8 times out of 10 where my Uber driver is or was in some form of logistics. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah, and he goes, next year I think I'm going to start driving for Prime.
Wow.
As a, and I still don't understand. I go, why would you leave Werner as a company driver to go lease a truck for Prime? I go, that doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't you just let them take care of like whatever?
Yeah, I know.
Am I thinking wrong?
No, I think you're thinking right, because there's a lot of backlash on that. I mean, we saw Celadon, right, do the lease back thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's trouble with that. I don't think I think you and I, when we were at the last show, we didn't talk about it, but I was reading, maybe it was the show we were talking about insurance. I was reading how difficult it is for them to make that. And so you're basically paying, I mean, these tractors are $100,000, David.
So this dude yesterday, I go, and I was trying to get him, I'm like, help me understand why you would do that. And he goes, well, as an owner or as a company driver, I get like 60 cents a mile. As a lease, whatever, it's like 80 whatever cents. I go, yeah, but still you have to, don't you have to buy your own fuel and this and that? Yeah, I got to maintain it and everything. I go, I still don't get the benefit. I'm in my head this morning, and now I'm like, what? Why would you do that?
Well, yeah.
Like,
So
go work for Walmart, Rich Warren.
yeah, Rich Warren. Didn't Wildbeard just go through this?
He's at Hirschbeck. I kind of haven't
Well, maybe
really been paying attention.
Well, a little bit. I thought that he had owned his own truck, right?
Oh yeah, that's
and then now he's at Hirschbach, right?
I know what you're saying.
So he kind of went through. We've seen people go through
100%.
that. Where
Yep.
I mean, we saw Jacinda go through that, right? When the freight volume's gone down and the demand's not there.
Park the truck.
Yeah, I mean, it's a high cost, and she had some incidents there where she had some expenditures with breakdowns.
100%.
and then she was out of commission, right? So, yeah, it's not a, hey, it goes back to what that one show we did, right? We saw those big executives in California try to start a trucking company.
How well did
Bill
that work
Gates
out?
was involved in there, right? Yeah, shut it down pretty damn quick. It's not easy to run a trucking company, man. It is not easy.
Right.
It's not easy to find the right people.
Well, in anything.
A lot of things got to go right? It's all human involved. And so you got to take a human to pick it up. It's got to be a human to process it. It's got to be a human to deliver it. It's all, and I like that. I like that it's human oriented.
Well, yeah.
So,
I mean, our industry, as long as you and I have been in this industry, it's relationship, human oriented.
Right.
Whatever. Yeah.
No matter how much the technology is advanced, it's still human based. Right.
Yep.
It's not like you can get an app and figure it all out.
The day after I retire, I don't care what happens. Just keep me employed until I don't want to be employed any longer.
Oh my God. We'll be standing on some warehouse when we're 70, freaking. Just one more year. Just one more. I'm going to quit after this year.
Are you working till you're 70?
Probably not.
At what point do you want to stop and quote unquote enjoy life or whatever?
I'd like to retire at the right age, right? And then just
my dad 4 days after
life.
his 65th birthday. 4 freaking days.
Retired after that?
He dropped dead.
Oh,
that's what I'm getting at. Not to,
Jeez,
I'm not trying to bring a morbid.
Okay, I'm gonna work till I'm 80. I'm staying in until I'm 80. No, I don't know.
Well, my point is with that. Yeah, he didn't get to enjoy shit.
My mom really didn't either. She,
Stuff.
4 years, I think, and then passed away. Yeah, so. Yeah, no, I don't know.
What
do
you
you
do for a living?
She worked in a factory and was a machine operator for a long time, and then when she moved back to Appalachia, she moved back to the Somerset area. She worked at the 4-H club. They had a real nice 4-H club that's an extension from the University of Kentucky. So she had University of Kentucky benefits and pay. She had a pretty good deal. But the 4-H club was like the university would use it. They would send people there. It's out in the wilderness. It's really cool. It's just back behind her house a little bit. So she did that, and a pretty cool job she had. So she finished, I think, 65, retired. Was it 64? May have been 64. 64, 65. And then 69 passed away. So, but yeah, so that's the thing, man. That's why we got to live life, man, every day, right? You don't know. You could, and then my dad, he's 76, 75, will be 76. He worked till he was 70, 71, maybe 72, maybe 71, 72. Yeah. But he doesn't come across as a 70-some-year-old man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, to your point, I'm sure he's sharp, really sharp mentally or whatever.
Yeah, he owned a business and sold out, and yeah, he it's weird though seeing your parents retire, because it's like my wife and I talk about it. When our parents retired, we saw less of them.
But that's a good thing, right? Does that mean they're enjoying things, or does that mean that they're...
It could be a good thing, but my mom was like, I should have came and saw you more. So what we've noticed is these people that retire, you would think you had more time on your hands, so you would go visit more people. So I'll take my dad, for instance, right? So when he was owning the business and he was working, he would get up, go to work 7:38, and then about 9, 10 o'clock, I think, toward the end, he would look around and he'd be like, man, I'm going to head to see Tony, right? Or go do this or go do that. He was always like on a run. So then we saw him more when he was working than we did now. So
100% to your point with that. You look at John Brockett. I never see John anymore.
I think that's what
he's retired now and kind of doing stuff.
I think so. I think what happens is you retire, and then you get up at 8 a.m. and you're like, well, yeah.
What day is it?
Yeah, and you're like, well, I don't really want to drive to Indianapolis today, huh? And then it just repeats itself day after day after day. So I think you become a little more. There's more to do around you than there was before, right? So, like, my dad's finding little things to do around the house that he hadn't done for years, right? Mm-hmm. So that becomes a big project for the day. It turns into a week, So, it's weird though. You'd think you'd see him more, but oh well.
But then your dad's probably thinking, Tony never comes.
Why doesn't he come down?
Tony never comes to see me.
He's working all week. He just got the weekend. Come on down.
Ungrateful bastard.
Yeah. Oh, well, man. It's like life
goes by way too fast.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
I mean, you look realistically, or in my head, Halloween was yesterday, or like a week ago, and this is legitimately the Saturday before Thanksgiving already.
Yeah.
Next, what?
4 days, 5 days.
Saturday or Sunday is December the 1st.
Yeah. It's like December already.
Mm-hmm.
Then I start to think when it's December, because December's a good month. The worst is February, man. End of January, February is just, I hate that. I hate that time. It's the worst. It's brown. Indiana turns into Browniana. It's just everything's brown and ugly. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Dreary. Mm-hmm. It's like, But then I start to think, well, there's only like 80 days left of this stuff, right? 60 days left, 50 days left. So we really only have to about March of this stuff, right?
Well, the days start getting longer on December
Yeah, that's bullshit, dude. Dark at 4:30, 5 o'clock. I mean, come on. It's sick. Like,
I love it.
Oh, it's bad, man. Get up, it's dark. Go to work, it's dark. Come home, it's dark. It's like, geez, you can't even walk the dog. I'm walking the dog with the spotlights all over me at 5 o'clock, 5:30. Mm-hmm. You're a sick man, David.
I am.
So like that.
I'll come home on days like this and be like, it should be like this.
This is beautiful. This is beautiful.
Gray. No sun.
Nippy out.
Sun.
Yeah.
Go
Stupid
away.
sun. Why is there sun?
Yeah.
Why are you out today?
Eyes.
Burning my eyeballs.
That's right.
It's bullshit. Oh, here comes the clouds. It's great.
Yes.
Oh man, it's all good though. So those NMFC changes July.
Okay.
Some of them happened, like I said recently, but anyways, the NMFC website's got a National Motor Freight Traffic Association.
I guess I better check that out.
And it's good, I think, to check it out. I'm checking it out for you too.
Yay me. Well, just to be on top of it and see if there's anything in our the industry I work in, to see if there's any of that's going to be changed.
Yeah, you can download the list of changes. Let me try this here. Do it. Let's see if it does it here.
Dead space.
Dead air time.
Dead air time. Research is being done. Almost need some like Jeopardy music right here or something. Do, 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 do. Oh, nice.
Anyway, I have a list of it, and I didn't want to go grab it out of my folder, but it's you can download it on the NMFTA.org 2025 NMFC change.
NMFTA.org.
Yeah, NMFTA.org. My security is blocking.
It definitely does seem. The industry definitely does seem like it's in a slow time. I was at a meeting yesterday afternoon with one of the truckload carriers that we use, and they said it's way down. So but it's just that time of year. So I mean, things are still okay, but it's just the business is down.
Yeah, I'm not seeing. I think my theory, which is it's probably not accurate, but it's a theory. My theory is that these seasons, they move these seasons so quick now that you don't, and it's moved in alternate ways than it was before. It's still on a truck, but maybe not on an LTL truck.
Okay.
So, I mean, I saw Christmas stuff before I saw Halloween stuff.
Oh.
Being put out at Meijer. And then I saw them rush the Halloween stuff out. And then as soon as that's over, boom, the Christmas stuff's out, right? Thanksgiving. I saw Christmas stuff before Thanksgiving, right? That's usually doesn't happen. So I think these companies have just done a better job of, the retail industry's done a better job of handling those rushes. It's no longer a rush. It's more spread out over time, I think, where they're already planning Christmas I'm sick to say, I think the end of July, August, they start planning it. I mean, what did you, how early did you see Halloween candy this year? I saw it in like September.
Yeah.
Like I thought. I mean, I don't think I'm excited.
I think you're right. Yeah.
It's like, wow. But, so I think those jolts we used to see, you know what I mean? We just don't see them anymore.
Is Christmas what it used to be? Or is it still, and by that, I mean, what I mean by that, I don't mean it as in the sense of the holiday. I mean, as in the spending, the whatever of the holiday. Is it, or is it, I don't know. I mean, we put up, when the girls were young, we definitely kind of went all out for decorating for whatever, but now it's like a little Charlie Brown tree and poof on the desk, and that's good enough. I don't know.
It's a good
Maybe,
question.
I don't
know.
know.
No,
I don't know.
I mean,
Maybe a better question for Walmart Rich is today. I mean, was he
would
hauling?
be a really good question.
You know,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, we've known they've done a better job of regionalizing their stuff, so they're not getting the more long haul stuff into the Christmas, right? So so he'll tell you that they've regionalized it. So, and then we know that from the other driver that we talked to, that they regionalized it and they're home every day. So they're moving their products differently than they did 10 years ago, 5 years ago. So we're not seeing that rush like that. The industry as a whole is not seeing it. So, and it might be attributed to the fact that the economy's obviously down, but so you don't see as much. But, you know, it goes back to, you remember when we were kids and you had the Mattel football game? And everybody'd run out to Kmart and you'd buy it, right? Well, now all that stuff's handled a little differently, right? So these stores only get an X amount, right? And you know, and you're just going to have to. You may not get it.
Remember going into? I mean, that's just nostalgia now or whatever. Going into like a Kmart, and there was like the little restaurant that was in the Kmart.
Kmart was awesome, dude. Yeah, yeah. I had to eat. I did always wanted to get something there.
Oh yeah, hell yes, yeah. And it would waft the smell when you walk in, like poof, hit you. You're like, oh, what's going on in here?
I'll never forget being at Kmart one time, and that's where I got my albums as a kid, like your music albums. And the Kmart had
your first ever album was what?
Oh, Kiss.
Okay, which album?
Man, I think it was Destroyer. Okay. I think that's what it was called. Okay. I don't have it anymore. My mom sold it when I went in the military. But
my first album, my first album ever, Abandoned Luncheonette by Hall & Oates.
Wow.
And I remember that first time ever hearing that music and thinking, them brothers can sing. They ain't brothers. They're not brothers. They're white dudes.
That's true. That's
same with the band Chicago.
Cool.
First time I ever heard the band Chicago.
Yeah.
There's some brothers in that band. Nope.
Yeah. The one dude had a real raspy, deep voice. Does anybody know what time it is? Does anybody care
about time?
Yeah. That's a great song.
I just made it better.
I remember being at Kmart probably in the late 70s. and they had a grocery store right next to Kmart, but it was separated with a wall inside, right? And so you would technically have to go into Kmart, do your shopping, go back to your car, unload your stuff, and then go into the food store, which was at Butera Foods, which if you grew up in Chicago, you only shopped at Jewel and Dominic's. You really didn't go to Butera. Butera was the step down in our minds from Jewel or Dominic's.
Kind of like the Aldi of today.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. So then, exactly. That's exactly where I think it lines with. So I remember coming out one time and we threw the stuff in the trunk, and my mom's like, yeah. She was, if they just tear down that wall. And so then.
Your mom should have been the owner.
She was the original inventor of Walmart, to tear down the wall. And eventually.
Or the big box, the original big box.
Yeah, it was weird that they did that. Then Butera didn't want anybody coming in to Butera with a Kmart shopping cart. You turn your Kmart shopping cart back over to Kmart, and then you go get a Butera shopping cart. Yeah, they had Butera on it. And then the Kmart had Kmart on the plastic thing.
Oh, I remember.
And you had the K. And then, shopping at Kmart was fun. The blue light
tennis
special.
shoes. I remember Tracks. Do you remember Tracks tennis shoes?
Tracks.
That's what are my tennis shoes.
Tracks were the Chuck Taylors back in the day.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I don't think even back then that you were
who
proud
made
to
Tracks?
Support.
Was it Kmart? Was it a Kmart line?
Probably, yeah.
What were you going to say?
I don't think anybody was excited to support Tracks.
No, you didn't see Mike Schmidt playing third base for the Philadelphia Phillies in a pair of Tracks from Kmart. Right?
Tracks. Tracks.
Oh, my God.
What ingenuity.
You know what? They didn't look bad, though.
No.
I'm going to look it up online right now. Tracks, Kmart Tracks shoes. Who made them?
Yeah. That would be, it was probably like Adidas or somebody. I don't know.
You know what? Oh, my God.
Puma.
I remember. Oh, I had the green ones. Do you remember the green ones?
I do.
With the white stripes? Oh, dude.
Mine were white with black stripes.
Really? I actually slept in them one night.
I think my
didn't take
parents
them
hated
off.
Me.
Yeah? Why?
Just because of that, for that reason. Because in my head, when our original gaming system, like instead of getting an Atari or a Activision or whatever, like back in our day, those were what the gaming systems were. We ended up with an Odyssey. Who the F had an Odyssey?
Odyssey? Oh, yeah. You were limited. You were limited on the Odyssey.
Yeah, not only yes, fair. Not only were you limited, but nobody else effing had one.
No, yeah,
you were the only
games.
one.
Yeah.
You're like, do you have a gaming system at home? Yeah, it's an Odyssey. My parents hate me.
You're like, what? An Odyssey? You got an Odyssey? Yeah, that's funny, man. That's like.
But Odyssey was originally the first gaming system. Period.
It was.
That's nothing to be excited about because nobody had one.
I remember them though. I remember. I never had one.
Nobody
never
did.
had one.
Nobody.
Well, I never had Atari either.
Well, we didn't.
My parents thought that was bad.
We never had sugar cereals in the house.
Ooh.
Never.
But you had Certs candy.
But we did. We just talked about that.
You had Certs candy. But the legendary Certs.
So my parents were. So mom and dad never bought sugar cereals. It was always like Cheerios or Grape Nuts or
Grape Nuts.
Raisin Bran or whatever, even though Raisin Bran technically was kind of a sugar cereal because all the raisins were kind of sugared up or whatever. But they would, my parents were coffee drinkers, and so there was a big sugar bowl on the counter. So if you're not buying sugar cereals, we're making sugar cereal. So you just would put like 3 tablespoons of freaking sugar in your cereal, and they would know no different. So
that's funny.
Back in the day, we did have Certs. Well, I had to steal the Certs. They weren't for us. My dad had Certs. Gosh.
Certs candy.
With Redson.
Redson,
as Jen mentioned.
Yeah, as Jen mentioned, which we forgot about that.
Yeah, the Great Divide, 743 East New York Street, downtown Indy. Ugly, none of you listening are going to be in town, but if you are, Ugly Sweater Ugly Sweater Party on the 6th from 4 to 8. Thanks to the Great Divide for doing everything that they do.
Man, great place.
So we were there last night. It was awesome.
Let's see something here. Kmart track. History. Trax was a Kmart exclusive brand of budget sneakers and sports shoes that were produced from the mid-'70s to the early '90s. I didn't know that.
Oh, I wouldn't have known that either.
The Melville Corporation produced Trax shoes. Trax were designed to compete with other popular brands like Nike, Adidas, and Puma. Trax shoes were sold strictly at Kmart. Yeah. So now you could go on and you can buy people, David, are selling Trax shoes.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. You could go on eBay. Oh my God.
I'll pass.
That is unbelievable. There's no way that shoe.
Because I don't think they lasted. I mean,
they didn't last very long.
Mhm.
The rubber would fall off of them.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
you can go to Etsy and buy a nice little blue and red stripe. I didn't know they made that style. Huh.
Hmm.
Well, anyways, yeah, they were. I didn't know about any other shoe until I got in middle school, junior high, and the other kids looked around and went, "Dude, you got to get yourself some Converse, man." You know what I mean? When you can play sports, you got to. Trax ain't gonna do it.
Yeah, we get Trax tennis shoes and Odyssey gaming system.
Yeah, Trax. You're in your Trax. Did you have your Trax on while you were playing Odyssey?
Probably. Yeah. Probably.
With
No
with
shoes on in the
certs
house. No shoes on in the house.
Oh, he couldn't wear shoes. Yeah. Oh, that's a
No
good rule,
shoes in the
though.
house.
David's ideal world would be get a good game of Odyssey going and his brand new pair of Trax with a couple certs, a couple certs stashed in your pocket that no one knows about.
2 mints in one.
Yeah.
With Redson.
You just got the new wintergreen Retson brand.
Right. Yeah.
Dad just got it. You're looking through his shirt pocket.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Little foil package of certs.
Yeah, because you knew if you ripped off too much foil, he'd know. You'd have to like put the foil around there and make it
That's
look
right.
like,
Yeah.
man.
Yes.
Man.
You're exactly right.
But so what else is new, my man?
Just same old, same old. Yesterday did there was a fundraiser in the Indianapolis for one of the food banks. It was the 23rd year for the Tonic Ball, which is based out of the Fountain Square District in Indianapolis. That I have never done that prior to today, Tony. It just baffles me why I've never been involved in that, and that was so much fun. That was just there was 5 venues in Fountain Square that different varieties of music: White Stripes, Parliament Funkadelic, Lady Gaga, Hall & Oates, and then the 5th spot kind of just did random whatever music, and it was the absolute best. And it was sold out, it was packed, and we hit up all 4 of the 5 spots, and there were lines outside of people waiting to get into wherever, and it was absolutely well done. It was just a great fundraiser. It was just awesome. The last spot we hit up was our kind of go-to staple, Square Cat Vinyl, and that was the most packed of the venues. And of course, as you know, Square Cat's not necessarily the biggest place, but per cat there was far more people in there than there was anywhere else, and that was the Hall & Oates music. And it was just, they had plenty of staff. It was a good time, and just, man, I'm glad I did that. And sent a text out this morning saying that has to go on the calendar for next year today, and that has to be a day off of work. I didn't take I wasn't as well rested as I should have been, but that was awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
Absolutely outstanding. What a great way to raise money for a charity. It was, man, I am so glad we did that. That was outstanding.
That's awesome, brother.
Yeah, I mean, people everywhere. Everybody was so nice. It was just, man, just one of them things where you kind of just forget about everything else. You know, makes you just forget about all of it. It was, man, well done. And it was on my radar last year to do, but for whatever reason, it just didn't happen. Tickets are, excuse me, $75 a person, and you could bounce from all 5 spots. Just so well done. gosh darn, it was just well done.
Man, that's good news.
Yeah. And they had different MCs at each spot, kind of between each place had like 12 different, probably about 12 to 15 different artists that played about 20-minute sets.
Wow.
So good. So good. But yeah, next year for sure. That is on the, gotta be a go-to.
Man, yeah. We'll have to check it out.
Mm-hmm. You've done it before, right?
Yeah.
No? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm going to guess. I'm guessing. What do you think? They might have sold 3,000 tickets or 5?
Probably
no more than.
Yeah.
Probably no more than 5, because again, none of those venues are really that big.
Mm-mm.
So I mean, Hi-Fi is the biggest by far.
How'd you get your drinks? Did you get them timely?
It's a really good question. So what we did is we liquored up too much prior. We went to Imbibe. So we did go to Chatterbox. Remember the dude Thursday?
Yeah.
He was.
Was there?
Mm-hmm.
That's
went to
cool.
Chatterbox. That was.
Yeah.
It'd been a minute since I've been in there, and it was well worth it. So we had to. We went to Chatterbox first. Went to Imbibe. We really hit it hard at Imbibe, and then we had one somewhere, and then at Square Cat. Yeah, unfortunately we bumped the line, which is what we shouldn't have done. We didn't do it intentionally. We just walked up to the bar and they waited on us.
Take a while, dude.
Because I don't know. I feel bad about doing it, but we bumped the line.
Regulars.
We bumped the line at Square Cat. Hey, don't you know who I think I am?
This is a spot. All you gotta do is put a light on you. I'm here.
Right.
2.
Yeah. Come on. Don't you know who I think I am? So, but yeah, it was. That was. I think I might go after we do this. I might swing by Square Cat just real quick and maybe
check her out. See how it looks this morning.
Mm-hmm. But they were well staffed. They were staffed better than probably any of the spots.
He told you that, right? That they'd be staffed up.
Mm-hmm.
We will be staffed up.
Yep.
Everybody's working.
That's a no-brainer. You and I should come up with something kind of, and I don't know what we would do it for, but I mean, the more I think about it, that this wasn't something that we didn't come up with or wasn't our idea. Just, man, it's smart.
So the trucking, how has your business been? Do you see it? Has it been steady? Up,
it's steady.
Down?
Yeah, steady. Let's just go with steady. Yeah, it's not, like it was 2 months ago, but it's not terrible. And in a way, though, too, I don't mind it being a little slow because it gives me a little bit of time to maybe take a day or two off here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Which I might try to do this week. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, you need to.
Mm-hmm. It's. I don't think any panic buttons are being pushed.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good way to put it. It's not a panic economy. It's just a kind of a
reset.
Yeah, that's a good word. I think we'll hopefully be plugging along heavier and more in the spring. What was that? Did you hear that? What?
Nothing. It's work.
Oh yeah, work. But yeah, so it lines up to be a pretty good weekend for college football. It's gonna be good.
I have a message from Jacinda asking me how we're doing.
Oh, really? It's like we're almost like we're live, but she heard us talk about her.
Yeah,
that's
weird.
funny.
That's why I'm like,
well,
that's weird.
We'll have to get her back on.
Love to.
That's great. But so how did Marion? So New Pal is playing for the state championship.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
Okay.
They defeated Martinsville last night. was it 43-7 or something?
Martinsville?
Yeah. You've got Brownsburg beat Center Grove. That was a big win. Westfield beat Crown Point. So it looks like Westfield's going to be playing for the 6A. Man, they're getting better and better and better and better and better. Decatur Central beat Bloomington.
Okay.
New Pal beat Martinsville.
Okay.
So it looks like Westfield and 6A is playing Brownsburg. Warsaw is going to be playing Decatur Central.
Oh, wow.
East Noble's going to be playing New Pal. New Pal should win the state championship. This is all next week.
Yeah, yeah. Thursday and Friday, or just Friday? Or
Oh, wait,
what
no,
is
it's
that?
Friday. Okay, no, it's a good question. Friday and Saturday.
Oh,
Wait.
at Lucas Oil?
Yep. Next week's IHSAA football state final schedule. 2A's at 11 a.m., 4A's at 3 p.m., 6A's at 7 p.m. Friday, Saturday, Class A, 3A, and 5A. Wow. It's pretty big for Westfield, man. Have you been there lately? You ever been there?
It's been a minute. It's not a direction. So, to your point, this coming Wednesday.
You wouldn't flow through there very often.
This coming Wednesday on my side of Westfield, Eagleton, that little bitty spot in the road right there. Brian and I are meeting for lunch right there's the roadside cafe that's there.
Yeah.
Brian and I are meeting for lunch there.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Wednesday. So,
That
boy, Wednesday. Gosh darn.
it's growing like mad. Yeah.
I just haven't been over there. I just don't have a reason to go that way
No, you don't. Yep. I have to go that way a lot.
for work.
Yep. And I've had to go from there to Lebanon, which is a nice ride. But well, usually it just shoots you back down to 465 to.
So last Saturday, Matt and I met up for a couple drinks, and we started in Zionsville, and we ended up in Carmel. But it was dark, and I Ubered to Zionsville, and he drove us as he wasn't drinking, he drove us from Zionsville to Carmel, but it was at night. It was already dark, like you had mentioned.
3:30 in the afternoon.
Right. It's 5:30 and it's pitch black already. So, but anyway, what I'm getting at is he took the kind of the back road residential. So I didn't get to, the homes. Jeez, Pete.
Oh, through there. Yeah. There's a lot of nice ones.
Gosh darn.
Like, where's that money come from?
Yeah. Is this where all the athletes live, or is this, all the,
It's like big business owners. I think there's probably a lot of like state senators, politicians that have decent money.
Oh.
Probably live there. I think Mike Pence used to live around there somewhere.
100%. Matt said, Matt's like, this is where, right here is where Pence used to live. Or does live, or whatever.
I think like the governor might live over there in that area. The lieutenant governor, the attorney general, all of them might live like in that area.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's no warehouse guys living over there?
Yeah.
No, I'll take that as
There's no warehouse manager or sales rep.
No logistics managers?
Living over there. No. Living maybe on the outskirts.
No nurses?
No, probably not.
Oh,
No.
Weird.
No. Probably a lot of business. I think a lot of business owners too live over there. Well, wasn't
company people or something?
Jared? Remember Jared from Subway? He lived over there.
That's not a good story.
No, I know it's not, but I'm just saying, like people like that. Probably like retired players that retired out of Indy that made good money on sports teams probably live over there.
Like Rick Smith or something.
You think he still lives here?
I don't think.
We probably see
I
him.
think he did, but I don't think he does anymore. I saw him.
Probably said once his jersey wasn't retired, he probably said, "Fuck this city, I'm out of here."
How is that? How in the hell is that even how is that not a thing?
It's weird, dude. It's one of those weird ones. He must have pissed Donnie Walsh off.
But yeah, because he's spent his entire career here. I'm just saying, just whatever. Doesn't make sense. But you know that if you realistically though, this is probably sad. The only jerseys they have up there are Hall of Fame jerseys. There's not a jersey up there that's not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. And that's not always the case at places.
That's what I'm getting at. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. My opinion.
Rick Smits
Mm-hmm.
spends time in several locations.
Okay. He's more Zionsville though, right? I think, isn't he? Or no? What? Are you wide eyed? What am I white? What are you giving me white eyes for?
Smith spends about 2 weeks in the spring and fall in Zionsville, Indiana, where he still has property.
Oh.
He drives his motor home
Mm-hmm.
between these locations of Arizona, New York, and Indianapolis.
So I went to college in New York.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
He's all-time leader Pacers block shots. After retiring from basketball, Smits became involved heavily in competitive motocross racing.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
I remember that. It's not a frame you would picture on a motorbike.
He went to Marist College?
Yep. Wow. Drafted number 2.
Wow. 7'4".
Yep.
He's the only player to ever make the NBA out of Marist College.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. A little trivia for you.
And not a jersey retired.
No, not a jersey. Mel Daniels is, right?
Yep.
He's in the Hall of Fame, though.
Roger Brown, Mel Daniels.
Reggie.
Mm-hmm. McGinnis.
McGinnis. Yeah, forget about him.
And Bobby Leonard.
Bobby Leonard. Oh, boom, baby. Isn't he the boom baby?
Mm-hmm. He is.
So my gurgle. In my gurgle search,
Mm-hmm.
it shows Rick Smits, Indiana high school basketball scores, Kmart track shoes.
That's what'll come up on my phone when I get home. All of that stuff.
You'll be getting, if you've logged into Facebook, you'll be getting Facebook ads from Kmart.
I try not to do any social, whatever.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's interesting. You ever go back and look at those commercials from the 80s?
No.
They're kind of fun to watch.
Are your car mats always like this?
Sorry about that. I was trying to the ESPN game days all.
And they're at the
Caleb was the guy holding the cash.
Yeah, they're all jacked up at
they're
Ohio
at the
State.
shoe today. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. There's McAfee.
Right, yes. Good job.
Yeah. So it looks like, man, what time's this game on?
I'm gonna guess noon.
Is it on at noon?
I don't know.
Son of a gun. It's an early game. Let me look it up real quick. I have to get the show out before the game. Where's Ohio State? Ohio State. Game time. What time is the damn game?
It's noon.
It's noon? Big noon. Wow.
Shouldn't that be the time though? I mean, my opinion.
Yeah. What? So let's make some predictions here. Let's go.
I'm not a night game dude.
What do you think here? What's going to happen?
Ohio State.
Major blowout.
2 touchdowns.
Totally embarrassing. Upsets Indiana. Indiana goes home with their tail between their legs, and David from Purdue is happy, right? And then you're just waiting for him for your Purdue game.
Purdue they got beat They played last night.
Oh, that's right.
They got beat by Michigan State.
Did they? By how many? Do you remember?
I want to say 27-14 ish.
Wow.
Yeah.
Purdue actually looked like they were playing better football. We would expect them to have beat Michigan State.
Excuse me, 24-14.
24-14 by 10. Not bad. So then
You know what? Reading's not my reading's not actually obviously not my best suit. They lost 24-17.
Oh, close.
Michigan State, it's not their best year either.
No. No, it is not. Let's look at the Big Ten standings real quick.
How many bye weeks do they get now?
I think just one.
Seems,
Because IU had
seems like more than that because Oregon's
maybe
not playing today.
I don't know. I thought it was one. Yeah, Michigan State's 3-5. Purdue's 1-10. Wow, this has to be one of their worst football years in a long, long time. Usually they're good.
Admittedly so.
Yeah.
You know, it's new-ish coach. I don't.
What's weird is, why would Purdue have such a lousy year?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Huh.
What does it say? Yeah. After the game last night, Michigan's 5-6, or Michigan State's 5-6. And like you said, Purdue is 1-10. And the only game they won was against Indiana State.
Yeah, it looks like, and the bad thing is it looks like they lost Illinois by 1.
Mm-hmm.
They got beat by Purdue by 6. It's like it's like most of these games aren't even close, David.
Right. And this coming a week from today is the Oaken Bucket.
Is IU going to be their only Big Ten win?
I don't think they're going to beat IU.
You don't think they will?
Down there.
It's at IU this year. Man, I don't know, man. That's always a tough game. They got blown out by Ohio State. They got blown out by Penn State. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like they've just had a rough year, man. It doesn't look like this is not a typical Purdue football year.
Right.
Let's see here. Purdue football history, because I think they obviously have they've had some good football seasons. We know from last week they've beaten Indiana more than Indiana's beaten them
By a lot.
Yeah. Oh, you had to throw that in there, didn't you? By a lot. David said by a lot.
Yeah.
I was just looking at their football history here. It's almost like every year or so they go to a bowl game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an off year for them. Wonder what the hell happened.
It's a good question. They were picked to finish last in the Big Ten.
Oh, they were?
But
Okay,
I don't think that I don't think it was supposed to be a 1-win season.
Yeah. Oh, well, it'll be a great day today to see. So your prediction is Ohio State.
By 2 touchdowns.
I'm a Buckeye fan. Ohio State by 2. I want to take the Hoosiers so bad in a weird, sick way to just wreck this whole college football playoff thing up. Mm-hmm. Because I think it's disrespectful to have IU at 5 and undefeated when you have 2 teams with 1 loss, or 3 teams with 1 loss ahead of them. It's kind of a slap in the face, because I personally think if the SEC had Ole Miss, Tennessee, Vanderbilt was 10-0, I think they'd probably be number 2 in the nation right now, or number 3. I just think it's I don't know. It's fun. I'm excited about it, though. I think it's going to be a great game.
And the game starts in less than 2 hours.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I think I kind of like this IU team because they play with nothing to lose. They just don't care. And this coach they have is he's incredible. He was at James Madison last year,
right?
And he got no respect there. So maybe this is the time that he in his career can punch through that wall. That's a big old wall to punch through, though, dude, right?
Yeah.
It's like a historical wall.
Exactly.
But anyway, David, you got anything else to say, brother?
No, happy Thanksgiving to you and your...
Oh, yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody listening. This is our show right before Thanksgiving. Everybody enjoy your holidays. Be safe, and we appreciate everybody listening.
Yep. And Rich Warren, if you're listening, brother, hope you have a happy Thanksgiving.